GST to expand it. Even if you want to control the fiscal deficit, the government has no other ideas or plans to do so other than expanding the tax base. And therefore, I'm afraid we cannot really look much to tax relief for the future. I'll very quickly go through some of the tax provisions. The budget gives a one-time window to taxpayers to correct discrepancies and omissions in tax returns within 2 years of filing, subject to payment of taxes. We have had a series of measures to give you some kind of a chance. There is no such thing as updating, correction, all these terms are used. It is nothing but giving you a chance for voluntarily disclosing some escaped income. That's all it is. One good measure, this is a good measure. Hitherto, it was discretionary for the income tax department to grant personal hearing to taxpayers, even if the taxpayers requested it. Budget 2022 makes it mandatory for the tax authorities to grant personal hearing through video calls or video conferencing if taxpayers demand it. When you come to the appeals stage, if the matter is complicated, why do we have an open court system? You may not be party to a case, but you have a right to enter a courtroom and sit in the visitors gallery and watch the court proceedings. Because we are supposed to have an open and transparent system of judgment. Similarly, a pleader or a lawyer in the court wants to face the judge, make eye contact with the judge and plead his case on behalf of his or her client to the best of their ability. Because we are human beings and that minimum social close contact is necessary to be persuasive in an argument. But we were trying to replace this, the government was trying to replace this by a system of faceless assessment. In simple cases only. Faceless cannot also be headless or brainless. So this is a good move. Now, if you think you have got a complex case, your chartered accountant can demand and they have to give you a personal hearing. Property transactions, a minor change but an important change to bear in mind. The 1% TDS above 50 lakhs of a transaction. Formerly it was only market value, but now it is stamp duty or the market value, stamp value or the market value, whichever is higher. The sub-registrar's value or the market value, whichever is higher. You have to be a little careful here. All these things just put your whole tax down for cryptocurrencies to be taxed at 30%. Crypto gains will be taxed even if the total income of the SSC falls in the basic exemption limit or is eligible for a rebate. No mercy at all. This is a magnificent case of absolutely merciless taxation. Take no prisoners taxation. There's nothing, no escape route, everything has been sealed. Losses on cryptocurrency trading cannot be set off against gains from any other income. Losses cannot be carried forward to subsequent financial years. No indexation benefits when calculating long-term capital gains tax. Seller has to part with TDS of 1%. Of course, TDS is always adjusted against the tax you actually have to pay. But this will lock up your liquidity to that extent. So people who are trading in currency will be, cryptocurrency will be hit definitely. There's no doubt about that. On gifts, there's a 1% TDS, and on the recipient side, there will be a 30% tax. So like I said, absolutely merciless. Now, don't take any of these points as the gospel truth, because the real regulations, the real guidelines, the real circulars will start coming after this. So that is when we will know the true picture. But these are reasonable expectations of what's going to happen in the cryptocurrency sphere. Now the 30% tax that we are keeping on saying is only the base rate. With surcharge and cess, the actual tax rate can go even up to 42.74%, depending on the degree of profits that you're going to make. So the government is not satisfied with hitting cryptocurrency trading and cryptocurrencies with income tax. There is also indirect tax. GST will be charged on the commissions of crypto trading platforms, service providers. GST will also be charged on crypto mining, the creation of new bitcoins, the creation of new cryptocurrencies. We will have to wait, like I said, for detailed guidelines for greater clarity. But whichever way you are going to look at it, whichever way you look at it, cryptocurrencies are going to be hit pretty badly. There is no doubt about that. The next question is the legality. Taxing cryptocurrencies does not establish, believe me, and move on the cryptocurrency front according to what I'm saying. But the little advice I'm giving you here may do some good if you want to use a little common sense where cryptocurrencies are concerned. We start with a famous comedian called John Oliver. He says this, it's a beautiful thing. Cryptocurrencies are everything you don't understand about money combined with everything you don't understand about computers. The second passage I give you is probably from what at least I believe is the world's finest news magazine. They call it a newspaper, but it's more of a weekly news magazine. This is the only magazine that I read cover to cover. And The Economist 18th of September 2021 issue has some very good analysis about cryptocurrencies. Let me give it to you. We'll read it together. One worry is the lack of an external anchor of value. Cryptocurrencies are no different from the dollar in that they rely on people having a shared expectation of their utility. However, conventional money is also backed by states with a monopoly on force and central banks that are lenders of the last resort. This is where something like Bitcoin differs from, let's say, the Indian rupee or the US dollar. There is no anchor of value. There is no official sanction. There is no sovereign power behind it. You take out your 500 rupee note from your pocket. You analyze it chemically, physically. It is very close to a worthless piece of paper. What is its significance? What gives it the 500 rupee value? It's nothing but the promise of the governor of the Reserve Bank of India, the signed promise to pay the holder thereof that value of 500 rupees. It's a bearer bond. It's a bearer security. And who has sanctioned and guaranteed that value? The governor of the Reserve Bank of India, the governor of the central bank of the country. And what is the central bank? The central bank is the most important financial institution of the country, one of the premier institutions of the government of the country, which is the sovereign authority. No such sovereign guarantee, no such external anchor of value is ever there in any cryptocurrency. That's what the Economist is trying to warn us about. One more slide from the Economist. Without these, they find us